Here we are back in the garage live with breakfast with the Big Mac. Just blasted out a row. What's your heart rate coming off that, Mac?
118, 116. Got
Okay,
to 120 something.
Good. So it's just the start of the session. We're just warming up. And as we do, we want to use Mac's expertise now and experience over the last 9 months in losing 80 pounds, just to talk us through a little bit about goal setting. And as he starts off answering that sort of question, I'm just going to hold this chart up, which is basically a graph of the progress that Mac made over the 9 months. This is, what would you say, the first...
three and a half, 4 months maybe.
First 3.5 to 4 months, you can see there. So
It's got the dates on the bottom. It's kind of hard to read.
So Mac, goal setting. How did you bite it off like that over that period of time?
Well, it started with the doctor, and he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So he said, you got to lose weight. Okay. 10 years of medical school telling me to lose weight, you know. So I was 330, and I decided I'd keep track every day of my progress, my weight. They say not to weigh yourself every day, but I like to use it for motivation, because whenever you start to climb back up again, you can hit it hard the next couple of days. So I drew up this big chart with the weights and the dates, and then I put my goal. He wanted me to lose 50 pounds. He said, if you lose 50 pounds in a year, you'll be good. You know, he can't guarantee it, but more than likely it'll be good for diabetes. So I said, okay, I will do it in 90 days. He said, well, I don't want to discourage you, but that's not realistic. You know, I mean, it's good that you want to try it, but you know, I was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. So I started tracking on this chart, and I don't know if they're not going to be able to see it, are they? But there's peaks and valleys all through it, and you'd lose a few pounds over a few days, gain a few pounds, up and down, up and down. I learned that usually after an increase, I'd get a big decrease if I just kept at it. I kept at it. So by being able to reference this graph, I could see that instead of getting down, oh, I gained a pound, I put 2 pounds back on, 3 pounds back on. That's going to happen. The next few days, I'd come down 4, 5, 6 pounds. You know, the weight is always fluctuating. I learned how it fluctuates up and down. And I can almost predict, based on what I was eating and what my workouts were, how much it was going to come down. So the greatest thing for me on here was 99 days it took me to lose the 50 pounds. I didn't make 90 days, but I made it pretty close.
Congratulations. It is a huge effort, and you know, over the 10 years that I've been a personal trainer, Mac, the best I've seen is about 2.2 to 2.5 a week in very excellent circumstances. So you did it over a prolonged period of time, and you're still doing it 6 months after you achieved that goal. So I hear you talk there about discouragement, and it's really great to hear you say that you really didn't buy into it. And so many people I've seen, they get a little bit of discouragement and they give up. And what we've seen here is you've had a lot of times when you could have yielded to that, you know, and you didn't.
Yeah, there's plenty of places where you can see it in the course of like 3 days that I put 4 or 5 pounds back on, and that's after, you look at it, you're like, all this hard work to get down to this low point, and then I'm going back up again. You're like, what the heck? But you just stick with it, and then it comes back down again.
So how often, Mac, did you refer back to the start point?
The start point it's nice to see where I started at, as in relativity to how you come down the graph or whatever.
Yeah.
But after the first 50 pounds, and then onto the second sheet when I was still decreasing, it's just a great motivator for me. Because I'd be like, oh, look at this, I'm losing weight. Then I set my next goal, you can see here, was to get to 260. So another 20 pounds down to 260, and then I hit that in this range somewhere. And you can see, I got it, and I came back over it, I came back down, and then finally, after a little bit of hard work, and you keep at it, then you can see I got a lot lower than that.
It's a really good tool, and encourage a lot of people to make a graph like this themselves to help with their motivation. And did it spur you on to greater intensity if you saw yourself coming up a bit in your training?
That was the best part of it, because whenever you got a peak, I'd be like, all right, I got to hit it hard again. I mean, there's a little setback, there's a few pounds. Right. And there's a few here too, you can see how sharp they are.
Right.
Over a period of 2 days, I went up 4 pounds, and then I came down 6 the next day. It's just water weight, or I don't know, gravity's stronger that day, I don't know what it was.
It's a great effort when you see it mapped out like that over a long period of time, nearly a year now. So, congratulations.
Yeah, okay. One more thing I'd like to add is I weigh myself every morning.
Yeah.
You know, after I get up
Right.
in the bathroom, you know, same scale in the same spot on the floor, pretty much the same time of the day. That way I try to set like a consistent
Yes.
base to always refer to. When there's days where we were out of town and I didn't have the scale, I didn't weigh myself those days because I knew it was pointless, because what do I care about some other scale? This is the official scale that I'm using.
Yes.
This is my official weigh-in in the morning.
Right.
On occasion, I'll weigh myself like after a hard workout, like sometimes after you leave, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just to see what I got or whatever. But I don't record that. I don't score it. It's not an official weigh.
Yeah. Okay.
And then just one more thing. Sorry to keep interrupting you. Once I saw a low point for whatever at that point, and I went back up again, I always got, from looking at this chart, I knew that I was confident I could get back to that point again.
Yes.
Because once I saw
Right.
260 and then I went up to 263, I'm like, I had 260 before, I know I'll get back to it. And I still do that today now that I'm 243, I think is about the lowest I've gotten to, and I'll go back up to 245. I'm like, well, I know I'm going to get back to 243.
So what's your next goal?
My next goal is 240.
Yeah. Good. And
And
you'll get it.
Yeah, hopefully in the next week or two. But I'm thinking about, I don't know, 220 maybe.
Long term.
Yeah.
It's a good aspiration.
That take a little while.
But you're taking that in short bites just like you did all this. So there you have it, folks, from the man who's done it. That's Breakfast with a Big Mac. Congratulations.
Thanks, boss.